Imagine a lonely highway, a trucker driving through the night only to encounter the unexplainable. Meet Jake, a seasoned truck driver with a reputation for being steadfast and rational. Jake had been on the road for hours, his only company the hum of his diesel engine and the occasional flicker of distant headlights. Jake was a no-nonsense individual, a man who believed in the tangible, the explainable. For him, the world was as clear as the white lines that divided the endless highway. But that night, everything he thought he knew was about to be challenged. Like any other night, he was hauling his freight, eyes fixed on the road, when he spotted a figure by the roadside. A hitchhiker, a common sight on these long, desolate stretches. But there was something different about this one, a young woman, alone, in the dead of night, miles from anywhere. Against his better judgment, Jake pulled over, offering her a ride to the next town. She climbed into the cab, her features hidden beneath a hooded jacket. They exchanged few words. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper, her conversation vague. Jake couldn't shake off a sense of unease, but he shrugged it off, attributing it to the late hour and the long, lonely road. Then, in the rearview mirror, Jake noticed her reflection begin to fade, like a specter dissolving into the night. He turned around only to find the passenger seat empty. The hitchhiker had vanished, disappeared from a moving truck without a sound, without a trace. Jake pulled over, his heart pounding in his chest. He searched the truck, the roadside, but there was no sign of her. She had simply vanished, as if she had never existed. The rational, no-nonsense Jake was left shaken, questioning everything he believed in. Just as suddenly as she appeared, she was gone, leaving our trucker to question his own sanity. Our second tale takes us to a desolate stretch of road, where the only company is the chilling touch of fear. On this particular night, our trucker friend finds himself driving down an infamous route known for its unsettling stories. The road's reputation precedes it, a string of unusual incidents and eerie encounters. It's a place where the veil between the physical world and the supernatural seems dangerously thin. As the trucker navigates the dark, winding path, he can't shake off the feeling of unease. A shiver crawls up his spine, the silence only broken by the low hum of his truck's engine and the distant hoot of an owl. His thoughts keep circling back to the road's ominous history, the tales of the unexplained he's heard from other drivers. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a spectral figure manifests in the beam of his headlights. It's a woman, dressed in a white, floating eerily on the asphalt. Her eyes, hollow and haunting, seem to bore into his soul. The sight is so unexpected, so startling, that the trucker swerves wildly to avoid hitting the apparition. His truck careens off the road, crashing into a nearby tree. Dazed and disoriented, the trucker stumbles out of the wreckage. He turns back, expecting the woman to be gone, but there she stands, staring back at him. His heart pounds in his chest as he realizes she doesn't mean him harm. She's not there to frighten or torment him. Instead, she's a victim trapped in a loop of her final moments. As he later discovers, she was the unfortunate casualty of a gruesome accident on that very road years ago. Her spirit, it seems, is bound to that stretch of asphalt, forever reliving her tragic end. A chilling testament to the road's grim past, her spectral presence serves as a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows. A ghostly reminder of a tragic past, forever imprinted on that haunted road. Our final story tonight revolves around a trucker's most trusted tool, his CB radio, and the eerie messages it began to transmit. Imagine being alone in the cab of your truck, the world outside lit only by the dim glow of your headlights. Your only company is the distant hum of your engine and the crackle of your CB radio. But then, out of the static, a voice emerges. At first, it seemed like a mere prank, a fellow trucker trying to scare him in the dead of night. But as the miles wore on, the voice grew more insistent, more menacing. It whispered of dangers lurking just beyond the reach of his headlights, of threats hidden in the shadows of the late-night highway. It spoke of a crash that was yet to happen, of a fate that was waiting just around the next bend. The trucker's heart pounded in his chest like a runaway drum. His grip tightened on the steering wheel, knuckles whitening under the strain. His eyes darted nervously around the cab, scanning the darkness outside for any sign of danger. But there was nothing, just the open road, the starlit sky, and the endless whispering voice on his CB radio. Then, without warning, the voice screamed a warning. There was an accident up ahead, a deadly pileup that spanned the width of the highway. The trucker slammed on his brakes, the screech of his tires echoing in the night. He skidded to a halt, heart pounding, just inches from the wreckage. In the aftermath, he sat there trembling, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He reached to his CB radio, intending to thank the mysterious voice for the warning. But as he touched the radio, he froze. The power cord lay unplugged on the floor of the cab, the radio disconnected from any source of power. In the silence of the cab, the only sound was the disconnected CB radio whispering threats into the void. 3 tales of the open road, each more chilling than the last. We journeyed through the disbelieving fear of the phantom hitchhiker, a spectral passenger who vanishes into thin air, leaving nothing but a cold seat and a lingering sense of unease. We felt the sorrowful chill of the roadside apparition, a mournful figure forever trapped on the edge of the tarmac, her silent plea for help echoing in the wind. And we experienced the creeping dread of the whispering CB radio, an unknown voice that crackles through the static, its eerie messages raising the hairs on the back of your neck. These are not just tales spun from thin air, but reported experiences from those who brave the open road, the truckers who traverse the lonely highways day in and day out. Remember, on those long, lonely stretches of highway, you never know what might be waiting around the next bend.